Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. And hi, everyone on screen. So anyhow, my name is Mardon. I'm with the Small Business Administration President District Office. As you may know, the SBA is a federal agency created in 1953. So we just had 70 years birthday. So I was administrator, ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. So anyhow, our agency has been created to help people to find money to start and grow their business. Okay, so in addition to that, we have other services we also offer. So I'd like to share with you some of those services we offer and products, and especially focusing on the loan programs. Okay, so the services that we offer is, first of all, we provide access to capital. So I'm going to explain more in detail as to our flagship loan programs. And then we also provide counseling and training. So today's training is part of it. We do most of our counseling and training through our resource partners, such as small business development centers, women's business centers, school counselors, the veterans business development offices. The other service we also provide is government contracting opportunities. So federal government is the biggest buyer in the world. So when they give out the last government contracting to big corporations, they usually require those corporations and companies to set aside a certain portion of their contract money to hire small businesses. So they are actively looking for companies that would work together with them. So we have programs called such as 8A program or small disadvantage program. Women, especially for women-owned business, we also have a special program for them. So they usually get some preferential treatment when they compete for government contracting opportunities. So if you have any business products or services that you could consider government could purchase, you may want to consider government contracting opportunities. Okay. The other thing I also mentioned is that disaster assistance, as you may recall, during pandemic time, which is considered a big disaster. So government stepped up, and then we provide PPP loans, and then also economic injury disaster loans. So under disaster situation, federal government step up, and they provide direct assistance to people who are impacted by that disaster. In all other times, if you're looking for money for your business, you need to go to our lending partners, such as banks and credit unions. Okay, so I'm going to provide more detailed information in today's presentation on those loan programs. So topics I'm going to cover today is focusing on sources of capital, where you could find the money, and also more specific information on how the SBA-backed programs work. So oftentimes we get a phone call from people asking about, okay, I want to start a business. I want to know how much I can borrow, right? So many times people think about that, and based on that amount, then they can think, oh, well, maybe I have to come up with a certain amount. The thing is the other way around. You need to know how much money you are going to bring in and how much you need to borrow. So first of all, you have to estimate how much money you would need. So let's, for example, you want to start a business. So you did some research and found out there was a starting cost, startup cost and any expenses that you need to cover until your business start making money. So let's say you come up with $100,000 and you saved about $30,000. So you need to borrow $70,000. Then you would have a pretty good idea as to where the money is going to be spent, right? You provide that kind of information to your lending partners. So that's what they expect to see. Okay, so in terms of how much do I need, oftentimes people, I have no idea where I can start. So basically, it means that you have to do some research and find out how much money you would need, right? And then you need to estimate if it's a startup case, one time the startup cost plus what are my ongoing expenses, right? And then the other thing for startups, the lenders wants to see your month by month cash flow projection. Because, right, month number one, how much money you expect coming in, what are your expenses, and then at the end of month one, how much money you have to carry on to next month. So then it comes to your month two starting cash. Then you do same exercise month by month, at least 1 to 2 years. Okay. Since the startups have no history to show that your business generate profit to service the debt, doing cash flow projection is critical. So you want to spend enough time to research and do pretty accurate estimate as to how much cash flow coming in, what is the outflow, and all those things. Another thing I also mentioned is that oftentimes people think, oh, I don't want to borrow too much. So I just want to borrow just how much I need. So they oftentimes underestimate how much money they would need, because not only startup costs, you don't make money right away when you open up the business. It takes some time for people know your business, and then you start making money. So usually you need to figure out what's your break-even point. Break-even point is where whatever the profit you're making is going to cover all your the variable costs and fixed costs, right? From that point on, your business is making profit, true profit. But before that, you will lose money. So you need to have not only startup costs, but working capital to carry on your business up to that point. And oftentimes people don't do that. So they open up the business with just enough money, and a couple of months later, they have no cash to go on. And they have to close the business because without working capital, you cannot continue your business, right? So it is critical for you to estimate and add some additional cushion to whatever you think is needed. So you feel that I need 50,000, but add about 20,000 more to cover any unexpected expenses or anything that, nowadays inflation is a big factor, right? So any cost that you have not estimated. So be conservative. We always ask you to add 25 to 30% cushion to whatever you need. So when you're asking them to lend you money, add that amount and then, get it. Because once you borrow money, going back to the lender second time, when your business is not making money, it's almost impossible for you to get additional money. It's better for you to get some additional money upfront when you're getting the first loan. And then later on, when your business is making more money and you don't need the money, then return. That's much easier. Okay, so I want you to be conservative. The other thing I also want to emphasize is that no lender is going to finance 100% of money you need. Okay? They also require some equity injection on your part. So your own money, right? So depending on the industry, it depends on either 10% to all the way up to 50%, whatever the money you need. So if you're a dentist or a doctor who open up the private practices, they may say, okay, 10% is enough. Whereas let's say you want to open up the restaurant or some more, risky business, then they may ask you, okay, bring 30% down or even 50% down. Okay. The more equity you bring in, easier to borrow, right? Because that means your loan amount is getting smaller. So from lender standpoint, the risk is getting smaller. So they more willing to make a loan to you. So please remember that you need to have some your own money that you have to bring in when you apply for a loan and start a business. Okay, so you also want to provide where the money is going to be spent. Some people say, just give me the money, then I'll just figure out and pay you back. That's how it works. Lender wants to know how much and where the money is going to be spent. And oftentimes, they want to pay directly to the vendors and suppliers. Okay, so you need to provide all the detailed information there. Okay, and then along with that, you want to also explain how that money you're going to get is going to help your business, right? So provide those information. Now, let's talk about SBA guaranteed loans specifically. So topics I'm going to cover today is why you want to consider SBA guaranteed loan, how SBA guaranteed loans work, and what lenders look for in an applicant and what SBA is looking for in an applicant, and the different programs that you could choose from, and then which lender you want to contact and what items you want to take to the lender. Okay, just 1 minute, please. And this room is a little bit hot, Okay. Okay, so one of the benefit of the SBA program is that you are going to get better terms and conditions compared to conventional terms. First of all, SBA loans comes with the longer maturity. So let's say conventional loan, working capital loan, normally you get a 1 to 3 year maturity. SBA loan, 7 to 10 year maturity. Real estate, usually 10 year, 7 year. SBA loan up to 25 years. The reason SBA provides a longer maturity is to help you cash flow. Because we all know when you are starting a business or early stage of your business, you always struggle for finding enough money to grow your business and meeting the expenses. And that's the time the lender is least willing to lend you money because you don't have much profit showing, the history is short. So we understand that challenges. So SBA program specifically has a longer maturity. So that, let's say on the conventional loan program, your monthly payment would have been, let's say, $2,000 a month. Under our program, you may have to only $1,000, which you leave $1,000 that you could utilize as working capital to grow your business or meeting other expenses, right? So that's why we have a longer maturity. Reasonable interest rate. On the SBA program, you are not going to get the best interest rate. The reason is that lenders are required to use SBA program only when they feel that there's some significant weaknesses in your application. So they need some government guarantee behind it in case you fail, that they have some recourse, right? So that means it's from conventional lender standpoint, you are riskier than they normally want to see. So they usually offer higher interest rate. So what SBA loan does is that we basically set interest cap, how much lender could charge you. So the rate is going to be a little bit higher than conventional loan, if you have a really good credit. However, you are protected by this interest ceiling because lender is not allowed to charge more than that. Okay, so you are going to have a reasonable interest rate. All available collateral means that most conventional loans require hard collateral, meaning the real estate or fixed asset type of deal. If you are looking for working capital for startup costs or buying the inventory, oftentimes you don't have real estate to pledge, right? So most conventional lenders would decline. Under our program, we encourage lenders for those situations where the borrower shows a good repayment ability, but the collateral is a little weak, then we ask lenders to make loans so that if the loan doesn't be paid back full amount, then we say we'll step up and give your lender whatever loss you are going to suffer, and then we give you 75 or 85% the loss you are going to suffer. So that really encourages lenders to offer credit to those clients they would otherwise decline. So that's another benefit of it. So oftentimes also, let's say conventional program, they require 30% down under their conventional loan terms. With the SBA program, because federal government guarantees behind it, lender knows that if loan doesn't perform, they have some recourse that they recover some losses. They usually go with the smaller equity part. So you have to come up with 50,000 equity injection on the conventional terms, but let's say on the SBA program, you could bring up $20,000 to $30,000 and still be available to get a loan. So that's another benefit of it. Another thing I also point out is that The SBA loan is a fully amortized loan. So there's no balloon payment you have to worry about, or when the interest rate is high, the environment like this, then when you have to refinance it, if you have a balloon payment, it's a huge challenge, right? But our loan always fully amortized whenever so let's say you got the payment reduction several months, you have outstanding balance, then the lender is required to re-amortize whatever the balance outstanding there. So that by the maturity date, you are going to pay off the full. So there is no balloon payment with the SBA program. So that's another benefit of it. Excellent service we are going to get. So nowadays, everything is electronic. So SBA loan program, the response times are very quick. And then most of the servicing actions are free. On the conventional program, let's say you got a loan and later you want to, let's say your house and you want to refinance with lower rate. Usually lenders charge for people there doing those things. On the SBA program, usually we don't charge. That's another thing. And then free counseling available, not only for SBA loan recipient, but other people also could get it. But as you know, SBDC, SCORE, Women's Business Center, WEBA, it's a veterans and their family. They also receive counseling and training at low cost, right? The biggest benefit of SBA program is that you are going to have higher probability of getting a loan. The reason is that you go lender A who doesn't have SBA program and apply for, you don't meet their requirements, then the lender has no other option but to decline your request. Whereas you go to lender B who has SBA program, same situation. When they see that you don't meet their requirements, then they will consider SBA program. But the SBA program could mitigate the risk they are seeing. So when you go lender A who has no SBA program, you decline, no other option. Lender B who has SBA program, you don't meet their conventional terms, but lender may think that, oh, SBA loan could be done with you. So you get the difference, you don't get the loan and you could get a loan. Okay, so I encourage you when you're looking for a lender, make sure the lender has SBA program so that you have additional option and additional avenue to continue looking. Okay, so some people, because of PPP program and economic injury disaster loan, the government gives out the loans directly to small businesses. But no, only disaster situation. So normal times when you're looking for money to start a business or expand your business, you need to find a lender that you like, the SBA lender, and submit your application to the SBA lender. Then the SBA lender is going to review your application, and they are the ones who make the decision whether to make a loan to you or not, okay? Not the SBA. Sometimes we get a phone call from the people who got declined by the lender and ask us to help out. There's no way we could help out because the lenders are using their own money to make a loan to you. And the SBA, the guarantee only comes into the picture when the borrower fails to pay the full amount back. Then lender, let's say lender lends you $200,000 loan, and then you paid back $50,000, let's say, and then unfortunately things didn't go well as you planned, and you have to close down your business. The next thing lender will do is they're going to liquidate all the assets you pledged, right? That's the collateral, right? And let's assume he collected another $50,000 from doing that activity. So out of $200,000, lender collected $100,000, but there's still $100,000 that you couldn't collect anymore. Under that circumstances, then they will come to SBA and ask SBA to honor the guarantee. So upfront, the SBA promised the lender, let's say 75% guarantee. So under this example, then SBA has to give the lender $75,000 out of $100,000. So instead of suffering $100,000 loss, if they made a conventional loan where they take 100% risk, whereas on the SBA program, the risk, the loss would be only $25,000. So as you can see, how the SBA guarantee mitigates lenders' some of the uneasiness to make loans to those people that they turn somewhat riskier. So you get the higher probability of getting a loan using SBA program. And one thing I want to emphasize is that you want to work with your lender because they are the ones who are going to make a decision. So if you cannot find a lender who wants to make a loan to you using SBA program, then SBA cannot help you. Okay, so work with the lender, provide the information they're asking for. Believe me, they are not going to ask any information they don't need because the time is money for them. So they only ask the information that they need. So don't fight with the lender because I've seen people that are trying to refuse it or resist. That's not helping them at all. So give them information they need and work with them. Okay. So there's no direct interaction between you and SBA. SBA work with the lender, you work with the lender. So you get a loan from the lender and they pay back through the lender. Okay. So what lenders are looking for in your SBA loan application is first of all, and the most important thing is repayment ability. Okay. This is not a grant, it's a loan program. So the most important thing is that your business must show repayment ability. Now, from time to time, people say, my business doesn't have any repayment ability, but I have other sources of income that I could use to make the payments on. That's good. That helps. Push to 6 months or so, right? Additional source of income that you could use it. However, eventually, lender is going to make a decision based upon your business cash flow because SBA loan is made for business, not individual. Oftentimes, most of the small businesses are sole prop. So individuals is the same as a business. So people will think that, oh, SBA loan made to individuals. No, we are making loans to businesses, owned by sole prop. Right? So we are focusing on business cash flow. That's why it is very important for you to spend enough time to do cash flow correctly for your business. And your business must show repayment ability. Okay? The other thing also they see is the equity injection amount. As I mentioned, your money you bring in, easier for you to get a loan. Creditworthiness, character. So they are going to check your credit score, right? So if you have any blemishes with your credit, explain it, why, and what have you done? So you have to file the bankruptcy some years ago because you lost the job, but since then you got a new job and you've been paying as a bill. So you want to show the history. Okay, here, this period, I had difficulty, but since then I've been paying as a bill. So those things are taken into consideration. Your experience, training in the field that you are going to open your business. Right? That's very, very important. And the collateral. The more collateral you pledge, easier for you to get a loan and better interest rate. Right? From a lender standpoint, less risk. So you get the lower interest. Whereas they consider you a high interest, the risk group, then they charge a higher interest rate so that they compensate the potential risk that they are going to take. Okay. Now, so as we do submit your application to the lender reviews it, they feel that they could make a loan to you, you show repayment ability, then they contact the SBA, right? So what SBA is looking for? We also focusing on repayment ability. Again, this is not a grant, this is a loan program. So the showing repayment ability is the most important thing that you must demonstrate. The other thing also have to see is that because it's a program intended to create jobs and economic growth, our loan program is intended for for-profit organization. So during disaster time, like economic injury loans and those things, nonprofits are eligible to receive government assistance. However, under normal circumstances, if you're looking for money to start a business and working capital for your organization, nonprofits are not eligible. Only for-profit organization. Okay, has to be small business. You don't have to worry about that because the side we are looking for is that usually 15 million in tangible business net worth, plus you have to meet both conditions. 5 million 2-year average net profit. So if you are, making 5 million more net profit, and then your tangible business net worth, which excludes any goodwill or covenant not to compete, all those things, is 15 million. You don't have to worry about finding money because all the lenders in town is chasing you to make a loan, right? So our program is intended to help those people who have challenge to finding the money. So those groups are excluded. It's too big for our program. So as I mentioned, most of the business falls under 15 million and 5 million profit. So unless you exceed that, then you know that you are not eligible for most of the cases. People can qualify. Because it's a federal program that we use taxpayer money, the person who wants to get a loan has to be a U.S. citizen or has to be in this country. Okay. Good character. If someone committed felony or the crimes that involve some financial nature, or currently on probation, probate, indictment, those people are not eligible for getting a loan. Okay? No loss to the federal government. This is important because sometimes people get a loan, some assistance from the federal government, sort of through the loan program or government contracting program, as I mentioned. So 80 program, you get a federal government contract, and then you got paid, but you never completed your work. So then something happened and you had to be discharged. Now, those things stay with the government record. And once you borrow some money from federal government, through the SBA or USDA or any of those things, and you have not paid back full amount, like charged off or something like that, and thereby cause any loss to federal government, then you won't be eligible for receiving any assistance from federal government. Okay? So there are cases where people, let's say, kind of an injury loan, they received and they could not pay back and they got charged off. Those people next to get hit, they cannot get a government assistance. So you want to work with the lender and try to find ways that you are going to pay back the amount so that you don't fall under the kind of categories. Okay, 3 main programs I'm going to explain today is that one is a 7-8 program. This is the program you often hear about. When you go to the bank and apply for, that's the 7-8 program. Okay. Then another program called the 504 program. Some of you may have heard about it, but it's more specifically targeted for the real estate transaction. And then we have microloan program. So I'm going to go over a little bit more each program more in detail. So 7-8 program, you can use the loan proceeds for any business purposes. Okay, for working capital, buying the real estate, or constructing the real estate for your business, purchase of machinery equipment, furniture fixture, leasehold improvement. If you're a restaurant, or scope of a restaurant, you want to do some leasehold improvement, you can use the money too. And then also, our loan could be used to buy our patents or buying the business from someone else. Okay. The other thing I also mentioned to you is that you can also use our program to refinance it, which is bad. So let's say you wanted to start a business, you check a couple of lenders, but no lender wants to lend you money. You need about $30,000 to start a small business. So your option is using the credit card instead. As you know, credit card charge is very high interest rate. So each month you pay, but most of your property you send to credit card company, right? What I suggest to you is that you keep all those receipts and then do, let's say, a couple of years, you're making monthly payment on time, and then you want to refinance it with SBA. So oftentimes when you refinance it, you get the 7 to 10 year maturity for working capital, those debt, and then it's amortized one, much lower interest rate. So let's say credit card charges you 20%, whereas the SBA loan program would be only 10%. right? And the 7-year maturity. And then you pay each month, and then you pay off. Whereas a credit card company, you send a minimum payment each month, it goes on forever, like 30 years they are, right? So I want you keep the older receipt in those circumstances, or not only credit card debt, any debt, the private investor debt, or any debt is a higher rate than current situation that you want to check with the SBA lender, whether you could get any financing with SBA. Okay. So as I mentioned, we have longer maturity, right? So up to 10 years for working capital, real estate up to 25 years, equipment usually 10 years, or economic life. If the IRS says this equipment has 15-year life, then you could also go 15-year life there. Okay, different program on the 7A program is that our maximum loan size is $5 million. But we sort of like classify any loans $500,000 less. We call them small loan, okay? And the standard loan is over $500,000 and up to $5 million. Then we have another program, SBA Express. Then we have 3 programs for exporters: Export Express, International Trade Loan, Working Capital Loan. And for veterans, we have what is called the Veterans Advantage Program. And then Community Advantage Program. These are offered to non-bank institution can make a smaller dollar amount. So on the Community Advantage, the maximum loan size is only $350,000. And then microloan, I will cover more detail, $50,000. Okay, so depending on the loan amount you're looking for, you will choose your lender. Right? So standard 7A, $5 million is the maximum size. Express program, $500,000, and then Community Advance 350, microloan 50,000. Interest rate. So depending on loan amount you're looking for, this is the interest the lender is allowed maximum. So lender could charge less than that, right? So you could negotiate with the lender by giving additional collateral, bring the money to the table. So, but for your information, if you're looking for 50,000 or less, lender could charge you prime plus 6.5. Okay, between 50,001 through the $250,000, lender could charge up to 6% above prime, and up to 350,000, 4.5. And any loans above 350,000 and up to 5 million, they could charge prime plus 3. Okay, again. This the lender has latitude as how much they want to add, but this is the maximum they could add on. So as I mentioned, with SBA program, we have an interest ceiling, how much they could charge. This is the ceiling. Okay, so when you go talk to lender, negotiate with them, knowing this information, you'll be in a much better position to negotiate. Okay, another thing I would mention to you is when you are using SBA program, there is a fee that you have to pay because think about SBA loan as like a pot of money. So usually we use that pot of money, like a loan goes bad, the bank or the lender wants to money back, guarantee that we use the money to pay the lender any loss that they suffered. So they have to replenish that pot. So how they do that? By charging guarantee fee from the people who are using the program to replenish those things, right? So they usually have an SBA guarantee fee that you have to pay. The nice thing is that you don't have to come up with a lump sum upfront. Usually lender add the guarantee fee amount to the loan amount so that you will pay the amortized amount over the life of the loan. Make it much easier for you to do that, okay? So the amount is depending on the gross loan amount, but the actual guarantee fee you're going to pay is only based upon guaranteed portion by the SBA. Good thing is that if you get a loan and be approved by September 30th of this year, the federal government, the fiscal year ends, starts at October 1st and then goes to the September 30th. So this fiscal year, if you are going to borrow $500,000 less, there is no guarantee fee. So that's huge incentive if you are going to borrow. You are not going to pay any guarantee. Now, then based upon loan amount, there's different fee schedule. So you are going to get a slide so you can, look through it. So these are the fee schedule, guarantee fee. As I mentioned, right now, temporary guarantee fee relief. So if you get a loan, be approved by September 30th this year, you're not going to be charged any guarantee fee if you're looking for $500,000 or less. Okay. If you're a veteran, the Congress made permanently that you are not going to pay any guarantee fee, any loans $500,000 or less. But lender has to use SBA Express program to do that. If you go to lender who doesn't have SBA Express, they use a regular program, you are charged. But most lenders have SBA Express, so you also disclose that you are a veteran. And I've been informed that if your lender uses SBA Express program, I don't have to pay any guarantee fee, so can I qualify for that one? Because lender has to make a decision. But from lender standpoint, it's good for you if you get the SBA Express loan, no guarantee fee. However, lender only get a 50% guarantee out there. Whereas if you get a regular SBA program, lender gets a 75% guarantee. So lender has to make a decision as to, okay, do I want to take a lesser guarantee from the government, thereby you don't have to pay any guarantee fee, or I want to get a higher SBA guarantee and then I want you to pay. So that's what you have to negotiate with the lender. Okay, so that was a 7A program that you are going to deal with when you go to, let's say, banks and credit unions that has SBA program. There's a program called the 504 program. This program has been created specifically for real estate transaction. Okay, so when you buy your building for your business or construct a building for your business, okay, or buying the big capital equipment, and then also nowadays they allow some debt financing. Those cases you can use the 504. Now, if you want to purchase real estate, you have options. Either you could use a 504 or 7A, right? So, however, if you're looking for some working capital, usually you have to get a 7A along with 504. So, real estate portion, you use 504. Working capital portion, you could use a 7A to get it. So, 504 program, on the 7A program, each lender has their own equity injection requirements. So, let's say Bank of America, 10%, Wells Fargo maybe 15%, Chase maybe 20%. It's up to the lender. However, this program comes with a specific amount that you have to bring in. Okay, so usually you have to bring in 20%. It is less than 2 years old, your business is. And the building you're going to buy or construct is a special purpose, such as a movie theater, gas station, that kind of things. Then you have to bring in 20%. Your business is more than 2 years old, and you buy, let's say, general purpose, meaning that you can change use of building very easily, only 10%. Between either or, 15%. So, and then you also have to deal with the two lenders. Lender, the Bank of America, could be a third-party lender, they finance about 50%. And then SBA works with CDC, Certified Development Company, works on behalf of SBA. And then we usually provide 30 or 35 or 40%, depending on your equity injection requirements. Our portion could be 40%, 35 or 30%. And that portion is 100% guaranteed by the SBA. And then you are going to get a fixed rate on that portion, no matter what, for the life of the loan. So when you are considering buying the real estate, you want to consider pros and cons of 7A and 504 and choose the program that fits your need the best. Okay. Okay, so which lender you want to contact? Luckily, most of the lenders in town, they have SBA. Okay, it's easier to count who is not. Okay. So the good thing is that you can check with the lender you already have a relationship. Ask them, do you have SBA? If they do, that's best way to go because they already know you. You already have a relationship. In case you're not happy with that service, you want to change the lender, you can do that too. So most of lenders in town, they offer the SBA product. And sometimes people want to, search nationwide or region-wide. I want any lender who wants to give me the best terms. I want to look it up. You can use the lender match feature. You go to SBA website, SBA.gov, the lender match, provide your information, how much you're looking for, where you're located, what kind of industry. Then your information will go out to all those lenders who signed up for the same program. So as a lender, I could sign up saying that I'm interested in any deals coming out of San Francisco County, any loans of $250,000 and up. Let's say you ask for $500,000 loan and you're in San Francisco County. So your information goes to those lenders to sign up for it. And then they decide, do I want to opt in and contact this person? Or I have too many deals, I don't want to do it, then I opt out. So if they opt in, then you're going to get notification from the system saying there are lenders who are interested in your deal, you're going to get contacted. Okay, so if you want to use lender match feature, please do so. But I usually recommend people try to find a local lender where you could have some in-person meeting and then discuss things. Because during pandemic time, we've seen so many cases. People don't have any relationships with local lenders. They couldn't get the PPP loan. And they have to, contact the fintech companies, online ones. And they have real trouble in terms of submitting forgiveness paperwork, and their debt has not been forgiven, so it becomes the loan. So I usually recommend the people to build relationships, a local lender, long-term relationship. Okay, so you can go in and talk to the person and resolve the issue. Okay. Okay, what items you want to take with you? If it's a startup, having the business plan is a must. Because you know your business, but nobody else. So you have to explain what business is, right? So that's business plan. Cash flow projection, I already explained to you why it is so important, right? Have to show repayment ability. Business financial statement. Usually, we're looking at the existing business, 3 years of your business, and the personal tax returns, and the internet. If it's a startup, you don't have historical business, right? So what you need to do is you need to provide a 1 or 2 year cash flow projection, okay? And your personal financial statement, your resume. You have to demonstrate that you have experience and knowledge to run the business successfully. Okay, so those are the SBA 7A and 504 loans. And I want to spend some time to explain to you the microloan program. Now, these are the programs created to provide a small amount loan to people who are really looking for smaller dollar amount. And then comes with a technical assistance. So our resource partners like our Small Business Development Center, Women's Business Center, and SCORE, they provide technical assistance. In addition to that, this program, the lender itself, is also arrange technical assistance to you. So helping you with the marketing plan, management issue, all those things, okay? So who are eligible for microloan? Any startup business, newly established, growing for profit. This is the only program that non-profit, the child care center could get a loan. As I mentioned to you, SBA loan requirements has to be for profit, right? The only program that allows a non-profit child care is under microloan. Okay. And also, you cannot just shop around any lender in your area. This program comes with the designated lender in certain area. Okay, so certain one lender is assigned, 1 or 2 lenders assigned to cover that area. So you need to find the lender that would make a microloan to you. Again, you have to be US citizen or legally in this country. Okay, so you need the documentation to show that if you are not US citizen. So the loan terms. Under this program, the maximum loan size is $50,000. There's no minimum. So you could apply for 2,000, 5,000, whatever money you need, but up to 50,000. No maturity, unlike other SBA program, it's only 7 years. Okay. So from the day you get the loan, there's no revolving line. So if you are looking for line of credit, you cannot get it under this program. It's a term loan. Okay. Interest rate, you get the fixed rate. Most of the times, 7-year loans, when you go apply for regular SBA program, it's a variable rate. Means that when prime goes up, your rate go up. Prime goes down, your rate will go down. Whereas this one comes with the fixed rate for the life of the loan. Okay. So instead of prime, lenders usually use cost of funds, meaning that, okay, I explained to you how the SBA guaranteed programs work, right? Lender uses their own money upfront, make a loan to you. In case they don't get paid back full amount, then come to SBA, then SBA compensates the lender 75, 85, whatever guarantee we provided upfront, right? That's how regular SBA guarantee program works. Under this program, SBA lends money to these micro intermediaries so that they can use their money in turn and then make loans. So SBA becomes the creditor under this program, and the intermediary make a loan to you. When you pay back, then they pay back the amount to the SBA. So when SBA lends money, there's cost of funds SBA charges. Okay, so they, instead of prime, they use that fund as a basis. Then they are allowed to add up to 8.5 if loan amount is 10,000 or less. And then could add up to 7.75 if it's above 10,000. So it's a fixed rate. You can use this money for any purposes for your business, but you cannot use the money for real estate. I mean, $50,000, you cannot buy the real estate, but you cannot use the money to leasehold improvement kind of things. Some allowed leasehold as they consider as working capital. So you check with your lender. Okay. Collateral, usually 50,000 less, you put together to sub collateral because this program is intended for underserved people, and who really have not much of an asset to pledge. So collateral shouldn't be such an issue in order for you to get a loan. As you discuss with your lender, underwriting, servicing, microlenders, that's how they want to do it. Okay, so technical assistance, as I mentioned, they provide in addition to assistance you are getting from our resource partners, right? And intermediaries, when they do that, they get the SBA who give portions of the loan that the microlender that owes the SBA, they give them as like a form of a grant, so they could provide technical assistance. Okay, who do I need to contact? So let's say I'm looking for about $50,000 loan and I want to get an SBA microloan. So where can I apply? So as I mentioned to you, each area is designated to lender. We cannot go any lender. You have to contact these lenders. So if you are located in Central Valley, like Fresno, Madera, Merced, that Central Valley area, the entity you could get in touch with the Access Plus Capital, which is headquartered in Fresno. Okay? Let's say if you are located in San Luis Obispo County, Monterey County, Santa Cruz, Santa Barbara, you want to get in touch with the California Coastal Rural Development Corporation, which is located in Salinas, and here is the contact information that you could get in touch with. Now, there's one entity called the CDC, Small Business Finance. They are headquartered in San Diego, and they are a very big organization, and they have a statewide territory. So Access Plus is their territory is Central Valley. Coastal is mostly Central Coast, whereas the CDC covers 4 states. Okay, so the contact person is a Penny. So if you are in, let's say, Slow County, you have CDC Small Business Finance, or you could get in touch with the California Coastal Rural Development Corporation. So on the microloan program, these are the lenders you could get in touch with. On the SBA 7(a) program, you don't have any restriction as to which lender you want to get in touch with. Nationwide, You can choose any lender in the nation. Okay. So that's the difference. Okay, so that is my presentation today, and hopefully you found the information is somewhat helpful. So do we have any questions that we have received about attendees?
No questions yet, but we can go ahead and open it up. Does anybody in the room have any questions?
Okay.
Anyone online, feel free to chime in the chat or the Q&A. We have one question coming in.
Okay.
So if I decide to go to the microloan, I cannot have on Bank of America or credit union. It's only that three.
That's correct. As I mentioned, regular SBA-7A program is open to all the lenders that has SBA agreement instead of SBA. So you could pick Bank of America or Chase or Wells Fargo or local Post Capital Bank or Post Hills Credit Union. Anybody who signed agreement with SBA, they could make a 7A loan. Whereas if you're looking for microloan, then you need to get in touch with those entities I just mentioned. So if you're in SLO County or Monterey County, you could get in touch with Cal Coastal RDC or Citizens Small Business Finance. If you're in the Central Valley, Fresno area, then they have to get in touch with Access Plus or Citizens Small Business.
But maybe things are already on, or I have to go to Salinas.
No, I provide you with the information so you could give them a phone call or
I know, but you also told that it's important the relationship with the lender.
I mean, they are very good at it. Returning your phone calls and answering questions. As I mentioned, the microloan comes with the technical assistance grant. So they have to spend the grant funding they are getting from SBA by providing services to you. So they are actively looking for opportunities to help you out with your marketing plan, your financial management. You have some HR issue. They provide classes on those topics. You could meet with one-on-one with the counselor who has expertise in that area. So that's the program strength. Now, that program is an underserved market, meaning that traditionally people with the color and the woman-owned and veteran-owned, they have trouble finding the money. So they're looking for smaller dollar amount. So most of them, like the lenders, national lenders or regional lenders, too small for them to spend time with that kind of deal. So they will just say, no, we don't do that. So you don't have any access to the capital. So that's why as we created the microloan program, people are looking for 50,000 less. Then it's a startup cost. Then you do well. Then the next thing is that you keep growing. Then you have no problem finding the money. But upfront you have challenges. So that's the program they created. So then we realized that, okay, what if people got microloan, became successful, and now they are looking for, let's say, $250,000. But still, from a big bank standpoint, the $250,000 is not great, not so big. Yeah, so then you also have challenges. So now what we are doing is that we are creating a company called Community Advantage Small Business Lending Companies. So most of these micro lenders also that the community advantage lender, now they could offer up to $350,000. So it's like a 7A. So the interest rate, all those things is going to follow the 7A criteria, not microloan. So you apply with this community advantage lender. Most of them is a micro lender, and then looking for the higher dollar amount than you used to get. So yeah, so we try to find ways to help the underserved market people that traditionally had the challenges, find the money to start and grow their businesses.
To be honest, for me, doesn't make much sense because a microloan looks like it's a thing that has to be more accessible for more people, and we have only 3 entities doing it in California. So sounds like something's wrong there. Like we have a monopoly with 3 entities, like doing the microloan.
Okay, so
Because I think, I don't know the real reality of the market, but like the microloans is way more like with this kind of people who you pointed out are looking and going to Bank of America and get a 500K, you know, whatever. So it just don't make sense helping their work. Just like light it up for me, you know.
yeah, because the reason we create this
Should
program
be the
is
opposite, you know, like the
the reason SBA create this program is that, as I point out to you, if we are Bank of America or Chase or Wells Fargo or any that bank, you have staff, limited resource, right? Let's say we have a staff. Would you like to have the staff to spend time processing $1 million deal and get, let's say, 3% commission, the fee? Or would you like to have your staff work on $50,000 application and get 3%? It's a money issue, right? And there's those the for-profit organization, they have to make a profit to stay in business. So they basically say, we cannot make any money by dealing with the people who are looking for, let's say, $500,000 less, right? So if you're looking for $50,000 or $100,000, you have no access to the capital. So that's why we came up with the microloan. Really, 50,000 less. Those people really are looking for a small dollar amount. So instead of using the credit card, you're going to get the loan, right? And you do that. You grow your business. Now you want a little bigger loan to grow your business. Then we have a community advantage loan where you could borrow up to $350,000 from the dear microlender who offers that product. So you do that. Now you grow above that, then you are looking for $500,000. Oh, then all those regional bank or Bank of National Bank wants to make it.
It's like they save you.
Yes. So it's all economy, right? I mean, it's a money profit, and we cannot blame them because without making money, they cannot stay in the business. So as a government entity, we have to come up with the program that fill the gap. You know, so that's why we have this microloan program and the community advantage.
Makes sense.
Okay, we have quite a few questions that came in online. So I'll just go ahead and just work through them in chronological order. First question is, are the Veteran Advantage programs useful or always given?
Okay, so from time to time we get a phone call from veterans. One of the misperception is that sometimes people think that this government program so it has to be automatically be approved. That's not the case. Okay. The difference between grant funding and the loan is a grant, you don't have to pay back. Whereas a loan means that you have to pay back. So when you apply for a loan, the most important thing is that you must show repayment ability. If you don't do that, your business don't show repayment ability, no matter what, you won't be able to get a loan. Okay. So for veterans, the Congress made a law to help them out that, as I point out to you, $500,000 or less. And if lender decides to use SBA Express instead of regular SBA program, then you are not going to be charged any guarantee fee, no matter what. Whereas all of the 7A program I mentioned, if you are non-veteran, then after September 30th this year, if Congress does not extend that offer, no guarantee fee, then you have to pay a guarantee fee. So that's the difference between the veteran and the non-veteran. And veterans advantage versus regular program. So when you are veteran, when you approach your lender and make sure they have SBA Express program, and then ask lender, may I get an SBA Express loan so that I don't have to pay a guarantee fee? Now, as I explained to you, lender has to make some decision there. One, if they offer you SBA Express, they only have to accept a 50% guarantee from the government. Okay. If they offer regular SBA program, not SBA Express to veterans, they should have 75% guarantee from the government. From as a lender, if I want a higher government guarantee for any potential loss, I want to offer you regular 7A. But if I want to help you out, So you don't have to pay guarantee fee. I take less guarantee from the government, only 50%, and then offer SBA Express so that you don't have to pay guarantee fee. So if you're a veteran, that's what you want to do. Disclose that you are a veteran and whether you could get SBA Express. Again, dollar amount threshold is $500,000 or less. If it goes above, it does not apply because the maximum loan size on the SBA Express is $500,000.
Okay, next question is from Paul. He said, hi, great presentation, and asked, what is the typical turnaround for a 7A loan approval?
Great question. Very easy to answer. Within minutes, if you okay, I would say it all depends on the quality of your application determines how soon you're going to see the money. And then also the nature of the money where it's going to be spent. Okay, first of all, if you submit incomplete application to a lender, you give a piecemeal, okay, and it takes 2 months, 3 months, right? If you give a complete package upfront and respond to the lender any additional information they ask you to provide, then there's all the information, they process it. Now everything is electronic. Then the staff goes in SBA, the electronic portal, input the information, SBA loan number generated right there. But if you submit the incomplete and does not respond to lender request for additional information, they cannot process your request until they receive all those information. Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, the other thing also determines how soon you're going to see the money. It's depending on the situation. So let's say if it's a working capital loan for, let's say, a restaurant, you get the money pretty quickly. But let's say you are purchasing gas station, which involves appraisal, which involves the environmental study, then of course those things take time, right? So you want to, depending on which industry and where the money is going to be spent, you have to give enough lead time because appraisal takes time. And also if you have an environmental issue, especially like a gas station, dry cleaner, all those issues, then they have to resolve. You have to have phase 1, phase 2 environmental, the investigation, the report that you have to get it. So those things take time. So I cannot give like a one simple answer saying that, oh, 1 month, 2 months. So depending on 2 factors, the quality and completeness of your application determines, and the second, the type of industry and where the money is going to spend.
And is the turnaround time similar for the SBA loans and microloans?
Microloans, given the fact that it's not involving any real estate transaction and the loan amount is small, so most of the times it's a working capital, right? Or buying a small piece of equipment. So you're going to see the money pretty quickly. Now, one thing is that it's quite rare on the regular SBA program and then even microloan program. Lenders wants to pay vendor directly. And we usually also ask lenders to the extent to do so, because we don't want to give all the money into the customer's bank account and then they don't spend the money. And then later, let's say, they don't pay back or something. So to minimize any misuse of loan proceeds, they usually pay the vendor directly or supply. So, right? That makes sense, isn't it? Yes.
All right. Next question is from Jeff, and he asks, does the equity contribution need to be your own money, or can it be from outside investors?
I would say, when we talk about equity injection, we mean your own money. Okay. So as I mentioned, no lender is going to finance 100% of your venture. So you have to save some of your own money to start your business, right? Now, on the private program, I talk about the 10, 15, or 20% equity injection. On the debt program, you could borrow the equity injection from borrowed source. The only source of the borrowed source you cannot use is the SBA-7A program. So you cannot get an SBA-7A and get the money used to private program, no. But if you could have, let's say, loan from your equity line, then you can use that money. Well, another nice thing I want to point out on the pilot program is that you don't have to bring in cash for your equity position. So let's say you bought that piece of land some years ago, thinking that one day you're going to build your facility there. So they appreciated the value. So now, let's say it's $1 million, and the land value is, let's say, $300,000, and then you own free and clear. Okay, so you do private project there. So on the $1 million project, your equity, let's say, injection requirement is 20%, as an example. So $200,000, right? You have to bring in, but you have land equity $300,000. You free and clear. Then you could use the land equity as your equity injection. So there are a couple of benefits of private program is that you could use the equity in your land or equipment that you own those things as an equity injection. The other benefit is that you can also borrow funds from other sources other than SBA-7A and then use that fund as to meet the equity requirements. Whereas 7A program, when lenders are asking for equity injection, they normally looking for non-borrowed your own.
Great. And then the next question is from Nick. He asked, are we able to do a combo of 7A and 504, or would we want to focus on one? We're looking for a $2 to $2.5 million SBA loan.
Sure. Depends on where money is going to be spent. So as I point out to you, the 504 program is focusing on real estate transaction only, and the capital equipment usually comes with it. Okay, so let's say you want to purchase real estate here or construct a building for your facility as your facility. But you also want to need about less than $1 million or $500,000 working capital, like, with the payrolls and other things. Under that circumstances, you could use a private program for your building. And then you apply for 7A for working capital. So yeah, there's no restriction as to whether you could combine 7A and 504.
Great. And then Rosa asked, are there any lenders that you can borrow money by just having the ITIN, which is individual taxpayer identification number?
I'm not sure whether I understood the questions correctly, maybe more in detail, but I would say, as I point out to you, SBA loans are made to the business. So many sole prop people, they think that, oh, SBA loans being made to individuals. No, made to the business owned by the sole prop. Okay, so making sure that it's the business who is getting the loan, so it has to provide the EIN number and then that kind of things. And then based upon how much you're looking for, right? If you're looking for small dollar amount, the less stringent requirements. If you're looking for $500,000 above or something like that, and then of course wants better collateral like real estate to secure their loan and other things, right? So depending on loan amount you're looking for, where the money is going to spend, that determines how much lender is going to ask.
And then Constantine asked, can I apply for a loan on 3 different microloan offices?
I don't think that's, as I point out to you, it comes with the designated lender for that specific area. Okay, so if you are in the SLO County, you can only deal with the, let's say, Coastal or cities small business. You cannot apply with the Access Plus because they are not allowed to make loans in SLO County. They come to the exclusive territories where they are allowed. Because microloan, first of all, small dollar amount. And we don't want to have multiple lenders compete in that small market because they have to make more money to stay in the business, although they are nonprofit. So, to make it workable, we have the designated lender for each area. And then you don't have to worry about whether I could get a better rate if I go to different lenders and shop around. Normally, they all operate within the parameters set by the SBA. So maybe like you could get maybe slightly half point, like the difference in interest rate. Maybe some lenders only charge 6%, although they could charge you 8.5. I've seen that. So you can do that, but on the microloan program, you don't have a luxury of shopping around. You have to deal with whoever lender is assigned to that. Yes.
So if you have more than one business, does one affect the other?
There are circumstances.
I'm gonna be under let's do this situation. You have two businesses, two different IANs, but they are under the ownership on one another.
Okay.
So in that case that she asked if I apply for in one place for one business, another place for the other business, will be
okay. Sure. Good question.
Thank you.
If it's under microloan situation, let's say your one business is project is located in San Obispo, then you have to deal with that lender assigned to that area. Let's assume the other business located in Fresno.
Or online.
It's a microloan you want to apply. Then you need to get in touch with the Access Plus and the CDC there. Yeah.
The San Diego one.
Yeah, San Diego. So San Diego one could make loans statewide, whereas Access Plus, Central Valley, and CalCoastal, Central Coast.
But my question is upon the approval of the amount,
there is your combined microloan for each business is limited to 50,000 or less. So you could borrow 25,000 for this one, then you have 25,000 left for this.
And you think because pretty much I know one business will be one thing, another business one thing, but I'm the guarantee. I would say this word guarantor. I will guarantee both of the companies.
Yes, so we consider it affiliate.
Yes.
You own the 100%.
So I'm going to get less money.
So we just combine together and then look at it whether you are going to exceed the program, the maximum city.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
All right. And then the next question is from Dana. She said, for a microloan, do they need the same things as a 7A, such as business plan, tax returns, et cetera?
Yes, regardless whether it's a microloan, 7A, or pivotal, or conventional bank loans, the information lenders are asking for is almost identical. Okay, so SBA loan is not different from conventional loans because normally you will give the same information to the lender, and the lender will review first of all. And if they could make a loan, conventional loan to you, they are not allowed to use the SBA program to make a loan to those customers who shows strong repayment ability, good collateral coverage. They don't need the government help to get the money, right? So we try to save money for those entities who really would have challenges getting the money. So we ask our lending partners, first of all, you have to evaluate whether you could make your own conventional loan to this person. If you do so, then you have to do that. Only when you feel like this person meets about 90% of requirement we're looking for, but we are looking for real estate as a collateral, but this person doesn't have it, but business shows good repayment ability, good credit score, we want to make it. Under those circumstances, then they could use the SBA program and make loans available to that person. So sometimes people think that SBA loan, anybody should be able to get a loan. I mean, theoretically, we are using taxpayer money, so every taxpayer should be able to get a loan, but it's a loan program and open to those people who could show repayment ability. So who is meeting also the requirement that SBA programs are looking for. So you meet those requirements and then have to show that you meet the repayment ability requirements. So lenders has to justify to the SBA why they need to use the SBA program to make loans available to that person. So it's not automatic that the borrower goes to the lender and says, I want the SBA loan. That's not determines the SBA loans they may want. You submit application to lenders that has SBA program. I emphasize, you submit application to lenders that has SBA program. As I explained to you during my presentation, you go to lender who doesn't have SBA program, they don't have any other option when they have to decline. When you go to lender that has SBA option, then they have another option and you don't meet their conventional terms. So you basically increase your chance of getting a loan going to the SBA lender, right? So you submit information, lender reviews it. If they feel that you are a good customer, but visible weaknesses they don't like to take, then they will make an SBA loan available to you, right? So you don't ask lender to make an SBA loan, you submit application, and the lender determines whether they need SBA guarantee.
Yeah, and the next question asks, do applications for the SBA and microloans require a co-signer?
Well, it depends. Like one example would be, let's say, if my situation is where husband is only running the business, wife has nothing to do with it, wife is not required to sign anything, except personal financial statement. Because oftentimes community property things comes into play, right? So although the wife has nothing to do with business, they usually have to sign the personal financial statement, okay? The other situation would be, let's say, they want to pledge, let's say, the property they co-own together. Okay, so husband owns the business and he runs 100%, wife has nothing to do with it, but they want to pledge this property they own together as a collateral. Then usually lender wants wife to sign the limited guarantee for her interest in that property. Right, but if wife has nothing to do with that business, then usually you don't become the co-borrower, co-signer. And the only situation is that I just explained. Yeah.
Excellent. So I just have a couple quick slides to show. Thank you so much, Kay, for such a wonderful presentation. And just a reminder to everyone, we will be sending out a full recording post-webinar. So if there's anything that you needed to revisit, you can just watch the recording there. And if you wanted to get in touch with our center, the SBDC, you can email us at slosbdc@gmail.com. And thank you again to Mission Community for co-hosting with us today. You can reach out to their organization at info@mcscorp.org. And thank you so much, everybody, for attending, and we'll see you in the next one.